Greetings, everyone, and welcome to episode number 6 of the Pan-Future Society podcast. I am your host, Sean, and it is Sunday, June 26, 2016. Just this morning, I caught on television a really old sci-fi TV show called Men into Space. I looked it up. It's from 1959 to 1960. And as you can probably imagine, it's not all that accurate. Some of the science is fairly accurate, and it's almost funny to watch how almost quaintly misogynistic the show is. You know, step aside, honey, let the men do the work, that kind of thing. But I do like watching some of the really old sci-fi shows just to see if they got anything right at all. And surprisingly, I mean, from the late 50s, early 60s, they were getting ready to go into space, so some of their depictions are somewhat accurate, and other things are wildly inaccurate, like the Russian general with the German accent. But it's fun to see, look into the past and see what people thought maybe the future would be like, and we've talked before here about accurate predictions of the future, but it's fun to see the inaccurate ones as well. All right, and now on to the news of the moment. This week on your news of the moment, we have new technology installed on the International Space Station. The ISS has just installed a new technology known as Delay Disruption Tolerant Networking. This is the first stage in a new mission that aims to allow the implementation of a solar system-wide internet in the near future. With the growing investment in space and possible moon colonies and missions to Mars in the near future, the ISS is becoming a busy place. And it is a 20-year-old space station now. It's remarkable to think it's been there for 20 years already. And it is in need of an upgrade of its communication systems. This new technology installed on the ISS is designed to form the basis of an internet-style network that may span the entire solar system at some point, or at least provide more reliable, stable communications should we have missions far out into the solar system. It's called DTN, or Delay Disruption Tolerant Networking. The way normal internet connection works, all the steps along the path have to be available at the same time. In other words, if I bring up a web page from, say, Australia, where I am here in the United States, that signal will get transmitted from a server in Australia through some unknown number of other servers along its way here. And if any of those pathways is down, I'm not going to get that web page. The DTN works in a different way because it is capable of storing and forwarding data as connections become available. So if for some reason, say, your spaceship is on the far side of the moon and you're out of range, as it is now with radio, and they cut out with radio and can't contact them till they swing around the other side of the moon again, this DTN could store a message, and then as soon as the pathway is available, it will be forwarded along to its destination. Since the space environment can be quite unstable, this gives us an opportunity in communicating long distances to have a system that doesn't have to be constantly monitored. You don't have to wait and test connections to make sure they're available. It looks like the NASA researchers are also considering possible uses anywhere where there are disasters, such as in earthquakes or something like that, I suppose, when communications are interrupted temporarily, some system could store messages and then send them out if electricity is restored to an area or something like that. So pretty interesting. We are building the very first bits and pieces of a solar system-wide internet. And that is your news of the moment. All right, on this week's main segment, we are going to talk about the Singularity and one of its main proponents, Ray Kurzweil. What is the Singularity? A number of future thinkers believe that an event, more specifically called the technological singularity, will occur in the near future. I've seen predictive dates between 2030 and 2050, 2060, something like that. At this time, some sort of intelligent agent, like a software AI, artificial intelligence, or a robot, will cross a threshold of an ability to self-upgrade or improve. This will lead to a runaway growth of intelligence, lead to something they call a superintelligence, far beyond human capabilities, and it will rapidly accelerate technological progress. Mathematician Stanislav Ulam is credited with first using the term in 1958 in reference to ever-accelerating progress of technology and changes in the mode of human life, which gives the appearance of approaching some essential singularity in the history of the race beyond which human affairs, as we know them, could not continue. Computer scientist and author Werner Vinge, I'm probably slaughtering that name, Werner has argued that the singularity could involve AI, human biological enhancement, and brain-computer software hardware interfaces. Futurist Ray Kurzweil is also a proponent of a fusion between computers and humans, but most academic research scientists at this point seem to think that a software-based system without actually merging with people will be the most likely scenario which this could happen. Kurzweil describes his law of accelerating returns, which predicts an exponential increase in technologies like computers, genetics, nanotechnology, robotics, and artificial intelligence. He says this will lead to a technological singularity in the year 2045, a point where progress is so rapid it outstrips humans' ability to comprehend it. Kurzweil predicts the technological advances will irreversibly transform people as they augment their minds and bodies with genetic alterations, nanotechnology, and artificial intelligence. Once the singularity has been reached, Kurzweil says that machine intelligence will be infinitely more powerful than all human intelligence combined. Afterwards, he predicts intelligence will radiate outward from the planet until it saturates the universe. So, some very wild and interesting concepts there. But at the core of it, the way you could think of it is scientists will design a computer program that has the capability of improving itself. Its directive is to use its processing power and its algorithms and its machine learning capabilities to design a faster program, or a robot that is designed to build better robots. And because each step along the way, the whole point of it is to go faster or have more capabilities, this looks like it could be an accelerating progress, whereas our own human experience is kind of limited to evolution. And evolution, biologically, is a very slow, drawn-out, haphazard, often unpredictable and sometimes unstable process that has consequences, that random mutations happen. Sometimes they're beneficial, sometimes they're not. Sometimes what was beneficial because of a ecological disaster is no longer beneficial and a species goes extinct. In the case of a computer program or a robot, I would imagine that it would be so efficient at this process that it would basically perfect evolution and it would not make any mistakes. Now, if you're thinking that computers couldn't possibly do this, there is a lot of artificial intelligence in our world already. In the case of self-driving cars, some programs that are being used to make medical diagnoses, and of course Deep Blue, the IBM computer, and Watson, that defeat chess champions and Go champions. That's all based on deep machine learning and artificial intelligence. So the workings of this process are out there now. Some prominent thinkers and scientists like Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking have recently stated their belief that AI is one of the biggest threats to humanity out there right now. And it could be possible if we reach this singularity and the programs or the robots are developing at a rate and doing their work and making their calculations at a capacity that we can't even understand, we have to be very careful how we program the initial process so that we don't get unintended consequences. I guess it's probably a science fiction trope of some kind that you've seen in TV shows or read in books that, in a nutshell, you could tell the AI, solve world peace, and its quickest, most efficient solution is just to wipe out all the people. So that's kind of an extreme example, and I think it's pretty unlikely that that would happen. But we are actually stepping into areas that are fairly unpredictable. So, if we have a machine that condenses, in a biological sense, several million years of evolution into a few days, we have to be very careful how we set up its original initial parameters for that. I will link to a paper in the show notes. One of my meetup groups, the organizer of this, posted this. There is actually an organization of people working on artificial intelligence, including OpenAI, which is a company founded by Elon Musk, and Google's AI research arm, and several others. And they are trying to work out exactly how you can have your AI and your learning machines programmed so that they don't run amok, and so that they have maybe a sense of ethics or empathy toward humans, so that they are just helpful to us instead of a threat. And now to talk about one of the main proponents of the concept of the singularity, I'll tell you a little bit about Ray Kurzweil. He didn't invent the singularity, but he is currently one of its main proponents and thinkers in the field. I would also credit his books, particularly The Singularity is Near from 2006, for bringing the idea to popular attention. Kurzweil is an author, computer scientist, inventor, and futurist. His early well-known work, including the invention of the first charged flatbed scanner, OCR text recognition, print-to-speech devices for the blind, and text-to-speech synthesis. So he's been pushing technology for his whole career. He also invented the Kurzweil K250 synthesizer. Yes, Kurzweil, the futurist, is also the founder of Kurzweil keyboards. As a musician, I had heard of him in this capacity first. I was very familiar with Kurzweil Keyboard Company. The K250 was fairly famous for being an early keyboard that synthesized piano sounds accurately, and it was a very popular instrument. It was kind of a shock to me to find that this was the same guy I'd heard talking about installing computers in your brain. He has won numerous awards and research grants, and Inc. magazine called him Edison's rightful heir. He has continued to be at the forefront of technological innovation. Of his creative work, he said, quote, "I realize that most inventions fail, not because the R&D department can't get them to work, but because the timing is wrong. Not all of the enabling factors are at play where they are needed. Inventing is a lot like surfing. You have to anticipate and catch the wave at the right moment." Interesting thought there about innovation. He has written 7 books. The Age of Spiritual Machines from 1999 and The Singularity is Near, again 2006, are the most well-known. Kurzweil is also interested in methods for extending lifespans and in the potential for cryonics to preserve his body for later revival. He has been a proponent in taking massive amounts of supplements, drinking alkaline water, green tea, and red wine to extend his life. He's also made some claims and suggestions in his books about health. Kurzweil is someone who has pushed at the bleeding edge his whole career, and I think he has been rightly criticized for these health claims. There isn't much science to support doing things the way he's doing them. I guess we'll have to wait and see if he lives to be 120. I think it's probably natural for people who think like Ray Kurzweil does to push those boundaries everywhere, even into areas where he's not really an expert. He definitely has the technology down, but this health stuff I think is fairly questionable. And if you're out there thinking you want to live forever, I don't really recommend following his advice. At one point, he was taking 250 vitamins and supplements a day. Apparently now he's down to 150. I think that's a little ridiculous. Everything I've heard about vitamins, if your if your body is taking in more than it actually needs, you're just going to pee them back out. So save your money for now and wait and see if Ray lives to see the singularity happen in 2045. However, I don't think you can dismiss his work in technology fields at all just for these kind of quirky health beliefs of his. He is a major thinker in futurism as well. He has made predictions in his books. Some have come true and some have not. Kurzweil has also advocated more work into the potential of the singularity and is one who believes it will involve a merging of humans and computers, including the ideas of transhumanism, using technological enhancements to improve human intelligence and physical ability. That will definitely be one of our shows in the future. Transhumanism is an interesting topic all its own. Kurzweil is one of the futurist thinkers who I believe would say that the singularity is coming whether we want it to or not. So it's best to be prepared for it and definitely have control of it ourselves and make sure it's not something that just happens with us unprepared for it. I think you can look back at some technological inventions of the past and say that something like the nuclear bomb was something that we were not entirely prepared for. I didn't really think enough about how that would change the whole world, and perhaps we can't understand how something like that will change the world until it happens. But at least now, as we have thinkers like Kurzweil out there, and technology is such a part of our lives every day. We should be prepared and more aware of how fast it is advancing. One of Kurzweil's main efforts today is his website, kurzweilai.net. That is Kurzweil Accelerating Intelligence. From the website's description, launched in 2000, Kurzweil Network explores the radical growth of pervasive technologies, both biological and machine, that are radically changing our world. Based on forecasts and insights originally articulated by futurist inventor Ray Kurzweil in his landmark writings, we explore key breakthroughs in science and technology. The theme, Accelerating Intelligence, is a core concept from Kurzweil's research, and it means always increasing our knowledge so we can better plan for the future. That website is a great resource if you want to see news, what's coming on the very cutting edge of technology and research. All right, that is your show for the week. Thank you once again for joining me here on the Pan Future Society podcast. If you want to get in touch with me, just email me, Sean@panfuture.org. Come visit us online, panfuture.org. Write us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. That would be cool. And you can find from the main website our Facebook page and Twitter page. There's a blog. Post some other interesting news as it comes up during the week. If you're interested in being on the show, I'd like to have you. That would be cool. If you're an expert in a field of technology or research or space or future things, and you're working on something cool, let me know what it is, and we can have you on. Or if I've said something egregiously wrong about one of these topics, let me know about that too. Or if you're just a regular person, a guy or gal, or Wookiee, or alien pseudopod, or whatever you are, you can be on the show too if you just want to pick a topic and kick it around for a while. That's always fun to do. If you're not on the show, but you do want to talk about these things with other people, I recommend checking out a website maybe like meetup.com. That's how I find some groups in my local area that like to talk about scientific topics. And there's a couple that I've been to, and it's always fun to meet people of varying degrees of expertness in a topic or varying opinions out there about all this kind of stuff. So once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you again in the future.